To get something you never had, you have to do something you never did. Les Brown's a motivational speaker. He made an analogy about this. He says, imagine you're on your deathbed, and standing around your deathbed are the ghosts representing your unfulfilled potential. The ghost of the ideas you never acted on. The ghost of the talents you didn't use. And they're standing around your bed, angry, disappointed, and upset. They say, we came to you because you could have brought us to life, they say. And now we have to go to the grave together. So I ask you today, how many ghosts are going to be around your bed when your time comes?
Put God first. Put God first in everything you do. Everything that you think you see in me, everything that I've accomplished, everything that you think I have, and I have a few things, everything that I have is by the grace of God.
My father was a coal miner. My father made $5 a day with 5 kids. I'm the youngest of 5. I got 2 older brothers. Well, I had 2 older brothers. My oldest brother passed. I got 2 older sisters. So where I started from was my father making $5 a day. I come from nothing. I had a severe stuttering problem throughout school. I flunked out of school. I'm on my 3rd marriage. I lost everything I've owned twice. I've been homeless and lived in a car for 3 years. We talking about next level? I'm finna show you how to get there. See, the cool thing about me is I ain't got nothing to sell you. I ain't got nothing for you. I'm just gonna tell you how you can get to the next level. Now, I've been debating on how I was gonna do this, but I thought the best way to go about this is just tell you my story. And in my story, maybe you can see some of yourself.
I think there's always an aspect of us that when we feel unloved, in any capacity, in any relationship, when we feel unloved, when we feel mistreated, when we feel somehow disrespected, it's a natural reaction to want revenge. And I think that's what happens with most people, specifically in our most vulnerable stages when we're children, and we haven't done anything to deserve that kind of treatment. It's really hard for the ego to not click into revenge. Once I discovered that mechanism, once I saw that most of us walk around with, that, you know, we want revenge against that mistreatment. It's a little piece of that with all of us. The problem is that when you seek revenge, you destroy yourself. And that's the paradoxical conflict that we all live in. Someone has mistreated us, we want revenge, but if we take it, we hurt ourselves more. You know, so that is the, as Radhanath Swami referred to, the perplexing situation that we find ourselves in. And the only answer is loving kindness. And most of us don't want to hear that. It's like, I'll take my chances with revenge.
40 years ago, March 27th, 1975, it was 40 years ago, just this past March, I was flunking out of college. I had a 1.7 grade point average. I was sitting in my mother's beauty parlor, and I'm looking in the mirror, and I see behind me this woman under the dryer. Every time I looked up, she was looking at me, just looking me in the eye. And I didn't know who she was, and I said, you know, she said, somebody give me a pen, give me a pencil, I have a prophecy. March 27, 1975, she said, boy, you are going to travel the world and speak to millions of people. Now, mind you, I was flunked out of college. I'm thinking about joining the army. I didn't know what I was going to do, and she's telling me I'm going to travel the world and speak to millions of people. Well, I have traveled the world, and I have spoke to millions of people. But that's not the most important thing, the success that I had. The most important thing is that what she taught me and what she told me that day has stayed with me since. I've been protected. I've been directed. I've been corrected. I've kept God in my life and it's kept me humble. I didn't always stick with him, but he always stuck with me. So stick with him in everything you do. If you think you want to do what you think I've done, then do what I've done and stick with God. Fail big. That's right. Fail big. Today is the beginning of the rest of your life, and it can be very frightening. It's a new world out there. It's a mean world out there, and you only live once. So do what you feel passionate about. Take chances professionally. Don't be afraid to fail. There's an old IQ test, was 9 dots, and you had to draw 5 lines with a pencil within these 9 dots without lifting the pencil. The only way to do it was to go outside the box. So don't be afraid to go outside the box. Don't be afraid to think outside the box. Don't be afraid to fail big, to dream big. But remember, dreams without goals are just dreams, and they ultimately fuel disappointment. So have dreams, but have goals. Life goals, yearly goals, monthly goals, daily goals. I try to give myself a goal every day. Sometimes it's just to not curse somebody out. Simple goals, but have goals. And understand that to achieve these goals, you must apply discipline and consistency. In order to achieve your goals, you must apply discipline, which you have already done, and consistency every day, not just on Tuesday and miss a few days. You have to work at it every day. You have to plan every day. You've heard the saying, we don't plan to fail, we fail to plan. Hard work works. Working really hard is what successful people do.
Listen, man, anybody can be successful, but you got to understand something. It's hard. It's hard, man. You can take all the courses you want. It's hard. You can go down there to the church and hold your hands in a prayer circle. When you get through praying, it's going to be hard. You go to school, you can get all the degrees you want. When you get them degrees and you hang them on the wall, if you want to be successful, it's going to be hard. It's hard being successful. That's the first thing you need to understand. I was telling you that I lived in a car for 3 years. In my 30s, I was homeless. I was homeless based off of a decision I made. October 8th, 1985, I walked in a comedy club for the very first time. Never been in a comedy club, but I had been writing jokes all my life. 2 years, I was writing jokes for a dude taking my jokes, going to a comedy club. He was paying me $10 for it. I had never been to a comedy club, had never heard of a comedy club. I was writing for a buddy of mine named AJ Jamal. He would pay me $10 a joke. One day, I was writing some jokes for him, and I was over his house to drop him off, and this girl named Gladys Jacobs came over to the house, and she said, "You the dude that's writing the jokes for AJ Jamal?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "He's the funniest guy at the comedy club." I said, "What is that?" She said, "You don't know what a comedy club is?" I said, "No." I was 27. And she said, "You should go and tell the jokes yourself." She said, "I'm gonna pick you up Tuesday night." October 8th, 1985 was a Tuesday. She came and picked me up. She took me to the comedy club, and I signed up for the following week. I had never been in a car. I didn't know what they were doing. And I sat there and I watched 9 guys walk up, and I didn't laugh at a single joke because the whole time they were talking, I knew what they were going to say, and better yet, I knew what they should have said, because I was a funny guy, right? So they get to number 10 and they call his name and he's not there. And they said, "Well, we're gonna go to next week's list. Where's Steve Harvey?" And I looked at the girl named Gladys. I said, it's crazy. This a dude in here got the same name I got. She said, "Go on up there." I didn't have nothing. And I went up there and I had nothing. But I had written some jokes for Jamal that I hadn't sold to him yet. So I just started doing those jokes. Long story short, they brought us all up for a clap off. I won amateur night, paid me $50. I got in the car and I started crying. And I cried all the way home. The girl looked at me, she said, "Why you crying? It ain't but $50. I said, "No, you don't understand. I was born tonight. This is what I'm gonna do the rest of my life." I went to work the next day, October 9th, with $50 and quit my job. Because I said, this is what I was born to do. See, I've been praying the whole time. I won that $50 and I took that as a sign.
My challenge in our generation is that gradually through entertainment, through television, through media, through every way possible, we are living in a generation of the dumbing down of ideas. Because we have traded effectiveness for busyness. Statistics say, yeah, somebody ought to clap on that. We are busier than any other generation we have seen in the last 300 to 400 years. We are so busy. We are busier than a one-arm wallpaper hanger. We're just busy. You'll get it later. Don't worry about it. It'll hit you in a minute. We are just as busy as we can be, and we think because we're busy, we're effective.
Don't confuse movement with progress. My mother told me, she said, yeah, because you can run in place all the time and never get anywhere. So continue to strive, continue to have goals, continue to progress. You'll never see a U-Haul behind a hearse. I'll say it again. You'll never see a U-Haul behind a hearse. I don't care how much money you make, you can't take it with you. The Egyptians tried it. They got robbed. That's all they got. You can't take it with you. And it's not how much you have. It's what you do with what you have. We all have different talents. Some of you will be doctors, some lawyers, some scientists, some educators, some nurses. The most selfish thing you can do in this world is help someone else. Why is it selfish? Because the gratification, the goodness that comes to you, the good feeling that I get from helping others, nothing's better than that. Well, one or two things, but nothing's better than that. Not jewelry, not big house I have, not the cars, but it's the joy. That's where the joy is, in helping others. That's where the success is, in helping others. Finally, I pray that you put your slippers way under the bed tonight, so that when you wake up in the morning, you have to get on your knees to reach them. And while you're down there, say thank you for grace. Thank you for mercy. Thank you for understanding. Thank you for wisdom. Thank you for parents. Thank you for love. Thank you for kindness. Thank you for humility. Thank you for peace. Thank you for prosperity. Say thank you in advance for what's already yours. That's how I live my life. That's why I am, one of the reasons why I am today. Say thank you in advance for what is already yours.
So since October 9th, 1985, I ain't done nothing else but this. Everybody will have a turning point in their life. You just got to have the courage to take the jump. It's the jump that's going to change your life. If you don't jump, don't worry about it. Stay safe, but you're going to have a dull-ass life, though. If you want to live, you're going to have to jump, man. You got to go for it. Change is inevitable. So here's what's going to happen. No matter what's going on in your life, it's not permanent. Everything is going to change. So there's two things you can do with change. You can react to it or you can participate in it. It's going to change anyway. So if you keep waiting around, you're going to have to react to the change. And now you're behind. But if you participate in the change, if you know the job you have is not going to last forever, I'm just telling you, COVID proved that already. Where you go to work at every day, that's going to change. COVID proved that already. Your best laid plans has changed. So what you got to start doing is you got to start anticipating that it's going to change and just start living your life with the preparation for change. No matter what you're doing, you could be doing more. Remember that. It's 24 hours in a day. You got to use as many of those hours to prepare stability for yourself as you can. I said it online, I got in a lot of trouble. If you sleep 8 hours, you're not ever going to be rich. If you have any dreams of being rich, you cannot sleep 8 hours a day. It's only 24 hours in a day. If you sleep 8 hours, that's a third of your life. How can you cannot be asleep a third of your life and become successful. You can't.
True desire in the heart for anything good is God's proof to you, sent beforehand to indicate that it's yours already. I'll say it again. True desire in the heart, that itch that you have, whatever it is you want to do, that thing that you want to do to help others and to grow and to make money, that desire, that itch, that's God's proof to you, sent beforehand already to indicate that it's yours. And anything you want good, you can have. So claim it. Work hard to get it. When you get it, reach back. Pull someone else up. Each one, teach one. Don't just aspire to make a living. Aspire to make a difference.
People got mad at me. They're talking about Steve Harvey prefers wealth over health. No, I'm just telling you, you got to get your hustle and grind on. See, I don't care who you are. Everybody wants to be happy and everybody wants to be successful. Everybody. I don't know nobody that don't want to be happy or successful. And if you're hanging around people that won't be happy or successful, you should get away from them. If you want a tree to really grow up and really be a beautiful tree, you got to prune it. You got to prune it every now and then. If you ever, well, I'm from the country, so if you growing corn, you got to hold the road. You got to get the weeds out. If you don't, they're going to stifle the growth of your product. Remember when they used to show rockets going to the moon, and they used to show it in Cape Canaveral or Cape Kennedy, wherever they shoot it from? You see a rocket on the ground, it's got these 4 big boosters. When that rocket comes off the ground, 2 of them boosters stay right there. Them 2 boosters is just enough to get this big thing off the ground. 2 of them stay attached. Then when that rocket go up, you can see, and they used to tell you, the next fuel tank is coming off, boom. And now it's just 1 fuel tank, because in order for it to get all the way up to where it's going, it has to shed that dead weight. In order to get off the ground, some people in your life, just for a season, they just ground level people. They can't go up in the air with you now. You can't keep dragging people with you, man. So now you got these 2 boosters and 1 of them come off. Now, in order for that rocket to get into orbit, you have to lose that last fuel tank. Because guess what? It's out of fuel. It's out of season. You done went to an area that fuel tank can't handle. If you keep that fuel tank on that rocket ship when it go into orbit, you're gonna blow the whole mission. You're gonna blow the spaceship up, because it ain't got no business going that high. Now, you can insist on taking it if you want to. The problem you're gonna have now is your rocket ship ain't gonna get into orbit. And do you know that's what's happening to a lot of people? It ain't your job. You can't chain people to your rocket ship and take them into orbit. You know, I had to learn this, man. Do you know I was taking people with me, man? Trying to keep it real. My boys in the hood was holding me to that. Man, you got to keep it real, man. Don't forget where you come from. We your homies. Yeah, okay. Dream is absolutely free. The hustle is so separate. You can hear this message from anybody you want to. I'm just telling you as a person who has been at the bottom, completely out, and managed by the grace of God to turn himself into something. You gotta hustle, man. You gotta get up before everybody else and go to bed after each other. For 8 hours a day, you'll never be rich in this country. You cannot sleep for 8 hours. That's a third of your life. It's 24 hours in a day. If you spend 8 hours of sleep, you will never be rich. If you don't want to be rich, you just want a job, get your check and go home, sleep 8 hours. If you ever aspire to be rich, wealthy, change the world, and get something, if you sleep for 8 hours, it'll never happen. It'll never, ever happen. It's going to take more than a notion to become successful. Because once you get this degree, it's actually just going to be a piece of paper on the wall. It's really all it's going to be. Some people may give you a job with it. The majority of people will tell you how much experience you need. So you gotta hustle, man. Gotta hustle. Hustle and grind. dig, man. Gotta fight. I have a lot of dogs in you, man, to be rich. Now, if you just want a job, get yourself a little job. Go ahead, set a nice little life. Oh, there ain't nothing wrong with that, man. If you really, really, really want to be bald,
mentalities that poisoned you. Oh, do you hear what I'm saying? If your soil wasn't right, it doesn't mean that you're not right, but if your soil wasn't right, it's going to affect how you root and how you grow. And you might grow a little bit. The Bible says you can grow for a while, but then the thorns will choke you out, or the rocks will not have enough soil for your roots to grow. Are you blaming God for something you ought to be blaming the soil for?